What up, YouTube? This your girl, Deborah.7. I have a baby in my arms sleeping, so I'm not going to be talking very loud. I haven't made a video in a minute, and I've been going through a lot of things spiritually. Things are changing. It's been about 3 weeks since I made a video. The last video I made, I had an influx of energy coming in around the 6th day of the ninth wave, I believe. And somebody had pointed that out to me. That is basically the Mayan spiritual calendar that shows when there's going to be influxes in conscious energy and light energy related to consciousness. And it was so weird because ever since that day, I had really plunged like into almost a depression. And I don't know where it came from, but I done got to the point where I don't even question depression. I just keep it moving. Okay, so the point of me saying all this is I was thinking about it. I said, Aisha, if you are in a place where you're putting out so much positive energy, you have to know that negative energy is going to come towards you, because it's almost like it's what's being offered to keep a balance in the choices and in the decision making. And I have related to this in a couple of ways. I've related to this as the yin yang, keeping everything balanced, light, dark, good, evil, and everything. I've related to this as far as the raw material. I'm going to talk about a little bit of that in this video. And as far as the devil, a lot of people call it the devil, like the devil is an entity, just like they call God, like God is an entity, like a deity, like a figure. A formless figure that all the energy comes from this one particular figure. Well, I don't look at the devil like that. I think the devil is more sort of an energy, an opposite energy, just that, is put here to keep a balance and keep the choice making and the decision making something to be balanced. It was said in the raw material. Now, I'm going to quote the raw material a lot, and I read all 5 books, and I'm putting it in my own terminology just so, it'd be better translated. It was said in the raw material that the evolution and the process of the third dimension has been modified over however long time. That before it would take humans or humanoids or, human-like creatures in the third dimension and other places longer to reach the 4th dimension because they were not offered choice. It was almost like knowing that, say you go to school, right? And the principal is your daddy, or the principal is God. And, your daddy owns everything, owns every corporation, owns every school, and you in school. Would you really do your homework knowing that, your daddy's going to give you a job anyway and your daddy's going to take care of you anyway? It was like the evolutionary process that, the almighty creator has set up. It would go really slow because there was nothing to push the humanoids in one direction or another. So they created the concept of the duality that brought along choices, the balance, the yin yang, up and down, left and right. So you will always have the choice that goes along with free will of it being offered. And also, there was no, on the one hand, you have service to others, and on the other hand, you have service to self. There was no duality. Everybody was service to others. So it took them a long time to evolve. From what I gathered and what I could tell about the earlier galaxies that had these humanoids in them, they're what we refer to now as angels. And they were not brought about with the concept of free will or the concept of choice. Their concept was only servitude to the creator. So that's where the angels came from. And when you make those choices, basically what happens there are two evolutionary paths that you could take. One of them you would consider good, the other you would consider evil, just us. But in reality, there's no such thing as evil because both paths still service the Creator in their own ways. Even the evilness provides a catalyst and a catapult for us to make decisions on, so it's quite necessary. Hence, okay, so I have to say this without it sounding crazy, but fuck it, it's just going to sound crazy. Okay, so you got all these different dimensions, right? Now, I've mentioned the different dimensions in previous videos, right? So by the time you get to the seventh dimension, there's no such thing as negative energy, right? But the fifth dimension, basically, a service to self path is different than a service to others path. Because a service to others path, there is... To give love costs nothing. If I'm a light and I share my light with you to shine your light, it doesn't take anything away from my light. And it actually creates more energy to my light to give to you. To light my own light by taking away from your light, I get less energy from you and it takes more light from other people. Meaning, say you have, okay, I hope you understood that. But say you have somebody in the service to self path. The way they get their energy is instead of, giving it through unconditional love and servitude, they give it through taking and manipulation and things that we consider to be negative. And it feeds them, it feeds their energy. Their energy doesn't last as long doing it that way. So they have to continually use the next person to get there. Which is, one of the reasons why, people of a selfish and power-hungry nature have totally destroyed Mother Earth. Well, there are people in higher densities and higher dimensions that manipulate them while they manipulate Mother Earth. So it's so on and so on and so on, right? So anytime you have an influx of energy, into the energy grid of Earth that's coming from a negative place or a place of service to self, if you do something positive, the negative is offered just because if they can use your energy, they will. So if you make a decision to do something that you would term negative or something that pulls at your vibrational level, it could perhaps be influenced by something outside of what you see. But most of the time people can feel it. And most people call it the devil. Now, this is the thing about the devil. Y'all remember in The Devil's Advocate, the movie with Keanu Reeves, when Keanu Reeves told the devil, you made me do it, you made me do it. And the devil said, I don't do that. The devil, that energy doesn't make anybody do anything. All it does is influence and offer a choice. So there's no such thing as the devil made me do it. If you're put in a position of, something comes to you and how you react to it is choice. It's always about choice. Now, me personally, I get a little caught up because, I'm going to tell you why. Because I stopped giving that energy power right in front of my eyes a long time ago. Back when I was in church, I stopped giving the devil energy power. One of the problems with church is that there's too much of a fear set up about that devil energy. It's necessary. It's there to provide the choice. As long as you don't choose it and you don't want to choose it, it's fine, but it's going to do its job. The devil has a job just like everybody else has a job. Okay? So my problem is I do things like, say, for instance, I scold my family. I scold them out of love, but sometimes it comes from a place of anger. The place of anger comes from a place of fear. The fear is losing control over my situation. I know where it comes from. So when I react out of anger, it's hard for me to check myself and understand that it's still coming from a place of unconditional love. I am probably going to make a part 2 to this. So, thanks for listening and love you guys.